It's probably one of the most exciting place I've worked for a long time in terms of its potential and the unknown prospectivity, I guess, the fascination of the unknown.
Hello and welcome to the Assay TV. Today I am happy to be here at 1-to-1 Mining Investment London with Tim Coughlin, President and CEO of Royal Road Minerals. So Tim, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Hi Amy, my pleasure.
And so let's just start off with a quick overview to Royal Road Minerals. Can you talk about the general mission for the company and what do you think sets you apart from others in the industry?
What sets us apart right now is that we've had a really quiet 2.5 years. And the reason for that is we've had a bit of an overhang, which we resolved in September. And also, back in 2022, the Colombians sort of suspended mining permits, and et cetera, and that was reinitiated. They restarted again in March of this year. So I think what sets us apart is we're doing a bit of a relaunch. We want to get back in front of people's faces, and we have to remind them of a discovery we made in Colombia. So that's that's where we are at this point in time. In terms of our mission, we're there to find ore deposits as quickly as possible. We are strong believers in spreading our risk a little bit, which I know sometimes is a difficult strategy to convey. There's a sense that we're all over the place, but we're not. It's quite easy, actually, to manage single projects in different environments. It's very difficult to manage exploration programs, at least within a certain band of valuation in different countries, but different projects, no problem at all. And so we are very focused on a porphyry discovery that we're advancing in Colombia, very focused in Morocco on a shear zone hosted copper system, and we're a little bit all over the place in Saudi Arabia like everybody else because it's very early days over there, but exciting.
Okay, excellent. So let's talk a little bit more about some of those flagship projects that you have. Can you give us some details, and their strategic importance for the company?
Okay, so top of the list is what we call the GAM project. So it's Guinta, Alaman, Margaritas in Colombia. It's just about 2 hours drive due west of Medellin, about 40 kilometers, easily accessible, very workable environment. It's two things. It's a porphyry system and a gold system. And the way I like to describe it, perhaps showing my age a little bit, is you probably don't remember those egg slices. So the egg is the porphyry. So then you slice it, and the slicing is the gold veins. And so often in these systems, having a little bit of dynamism, dynamic kind of range, so a bit of gold in high-grade structures and copper in high-grade structures, copper and gold in high-grade structures, helps the mineability of it. So that we were just literally, we just drilled into the porphyry in 2021, and so we're at the stage where we're about to drill that out in 2022 when, things didn't go pear-shaped, but things slowed down significantly in Colombia. So that's where we're going back to now. We'll be drilling that in January next year. In Morocco, that's a long shear zone. That's going to take a while, I think, to get that license transferred to us at the moment. It's an option type arrangement. But that should be busy again around about March next year.
Okay, excellent. And so you also operate in Saudi Arabia, and with Saudi's Vision 2030, how are you capitalizing on the growth of mining and the growing interest in critical minerals and the whole industry overall coming out of that region?
Yeah, so we're part, I'm going to put it this way, we're part of an evolving model in Saudi Arabia. We're very much integrated with Vision 2030. We believe in it. We have a lot of faith in that vision and what the Saudis are trying to achieve. But we're also sort of all struggling to get through the same door at the same time, so tripping over ourselves a little bit. So, the licensing situation is a little bit dynamic. Having said that, it's probably one of the most exciting place I've worked for a long time in terms of its potential and the unknown prospectivity, I guess, the sort of fascination of the unknown. We benefit, it's very early stage. And so right from the conceptual perspective, what's there, how did it get there, and how do we find it, and then how do we mine it? you're really at that stage. I like to think of the exploration process as, this is going to sound stupidly simple, but sort of defining dots, joining dots with lines, joining lines into surfaces, joining surfaces into volumes, which are ultimately mines. So we're really at defining dots in Saudi Arabia. The Saudi government knows that, and so they provide us with assistance. So first of all, and this is relating back to your question in terms of Vision 2030. First of all, they've established an online database where you can download all of the geophysics you need. An area the size of Portugal and Spain put together has been flown with airborne magnetics and radiometrics. They will reimburse you up to $2 million per year for the first 5 years of your exploration licenses, qualifying exploration costs. And then, amazingly, they will lend you up to 75% of your initial capex to a cap of $800 million when you're building the mine. So probably peerless in terms of those initiatives.
Okay, really interesting. And does the government there kind of initiate those types of partnerships across the board?
They're not really, so partnerships are something that you're free to make yourself with local Saudi partners. We're very pleased with our relationship with our Saudi partners. Very supportive, very relaxed as well in terms of how joint venture structures work. The Saudi government, so the Saudi regulator is probably best put. They're always there to hear our concerns. They're very interested in, at almost every stage of what they're doing, in feedback. You really get the sense that you're working with them, on this vision. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And do you want to talk a little bit about some of the JV partners that you have?
Well, we only have one, which is in Saudi Arabia. Everything else is 100% ours. That's a group called Maidu, which is a small section of MBL, which is Modern Building Limited, Saudi Arabia's largest construction firm.
Okay, exciting. And so, how do you think Royal Road is positioned to capitalize on some of the current commodity trends we're seeing? There's so much excitement around copper and gold at the moment.
I think, we're focused on popping back out, really. We've been wandering around the wilderness. I'm probably being a little bit too hard on ourselves, but we really haven't been able to market and tell the world, tell our story for the last 2.5 years because of this overhang. And so, I guess capitalizing it would make that, we would sound a little bit insincere if I was saying we were capitalizing it. We're actually, our timing's just been right, after a frustrating 2.5 years.
All right, excellent. And so, as you mentioned, it's been kind of a bit of a slow period, but now you're out here and telling your story. What should we be on the lookout for?
You should be on the lookout for drill results out of Colombia right now. So, well, not right now. January will start. We've got to breathe life back into that project. It's been suspended for a while. So, not the challenge, but the workflow between now and then is all technical. We've got to get back through some of the logging. We're currently modeling the geophysics again right now, fluffing it all up, having another look at it, and then drilling as soon as possible next year.
All right, excellent. Well, we'll definitely have to check back in with you next year to find out how that's all progressing. But Tim, those were all the questions I had for you today, so I want to thank you for joining us here today.
Thanks, Amy. My pleasure. Thanks, everyone.